Welcome to another episode of Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. Well, hello, Cindy Lee here, Bucket List Coach Web Show Live. So I'm going to give a little breakdown on the podcast. We've been podcasting out of Southern California since 2017. So what is Bucket List Coach Web Show about? So we have 2 dates and a dash. That in between time, there's a day you're born, the day you pass away, and the in between time. And the key is to live every single day, live your dash, celebrate others. And on this podcast, you'll hear about aviation, nonprofit, and amazing destinations around the world. And number one is how to celebrate every day. And today I have my friend Rosie. So we've known each other 2012, 13. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has. It really has. It's just crazy.
So let's
Yes.
talk about the Love is Kind holiday coming up on the 27th.
Coming up on the 27th. Yeah, so I'm going to give you a background on why this day came about, if that's okay, so you can really understand the significance of National Love is Kind Day.
I'm going to pop off for 1 minute so some of my network can see this amazing story. I'll be right back.
Okay, well, here we go. So I wanted to share with you that I lived in the Middle East for about 25 years. And from the get go of my marriage, it was highly abusive, but I had no clue what abuse was or domestic violence. Those are words that would come into my vocabulary, decades later. When my daughter was, an adolescent, a normal adolescent, like talking back and not, having her own independence. That was the time for her to have her own independence. And her father just didn't like it. So he went from not only abusing me, but abusing his daughter. And one day she said, "Mom, you have to get me out of here." And so within 4 months, I planned the international escape of our lives because we both knew that we were not able to survive living with him, living there. I lived in the Middle East. There were wars outside our walls, military conflict, bombs dropping. But within the 4 walls of our home, it was like being in a terrorist camp with fights all the time from him. So Love is Kind Day is July 27th. And why July 27th? That is the day we landed in San Francisco International Airport. That's the day we got our physical freedom. That's the day that we escaped with him, and he had no clue. There is not enough time for this podcast to give you the details of that escape and all the things that led up to it, but he was shocked when my daughter and I walked away, came back to my brother, and we left the airport, leaving him completely stunned. And because of that way we were living and the terror that we were living, all I wanted was kindness. And
Yes.
that was one of the things that was sharing, when I was planning the escape. I was saying to myself to not feel guilty. It's crazy, right? Feeling guilty, but not
Oh,
to feel guilty. I just said, I don't have to be a martyr and I deserve to be treated with kindness. So for me, kindness was a primary value. And that's why we call it love is kind, because real love is kind. It's not hurtful. It's not terrorizing. And that's how it came to be. And this is a worldwide movement.
and so what countries are you getting support right now?
Oh, from lots of countries in Europe. There are in Asia, in South America. I don't have the individual countries. Vietnam. I mean, there's just
Oh,
It's
wow.
it's
Huh.
been incredible in India. We have people who have signed the Love is Kind pledge, which you can see here. You can get that pledge, which is life changing. My daughter and I wrote that pledge to it's I call it the empowerment pledge because it really helps women understand what their rights are, what they deserve. And I think that's been sort of the biggest issue of not knowing what those are. Yes,
Let's
that's
talk about the pledge.
yes. Let's talk about the pledge. I love the pledge. And since we're gonna talk about it, I'm gonna read it if that's okay. It's not very long.
Sure.
Uh, I have it, in front of me here. So it says, I am worthy. I deserve to be treated with kindness. I am lovable. I am enough. I have the right to live my life on my own terms. I deserve to be heard, and what I have to say is important. Each and every word of this pledge, I'm just breaking it up here, is so important, so critical because women don't believe this. I didn't believe this. And we have to keep reminding ourselves what we're worthy of. I have the right to be my true and authentic self. And you cannot be your true and authentic self if you are in an abusive relationship where every day is a day of survival. I take good care of myself so that I can help others and show up more fully. We cannot live a life fully like what you were saying, that dash, right?
Mhm.
I wasn't living the dash, Cindy, nor was my daughter. We were just in pure survival. This is not the way to live this precious life that has been given to us. And so what you do is just is so in sync with what we do, right? You're part of that important dash. Um, I have the right to honor myself and my boundaries.
Boundaries are key. That's number one, really is.
Boundaries are key, and it's based on your values. So you have to know what your values are, and a lot of that's the number one thing I work with my clients with. I deserve to be surrounded by kind, loving, and supportive people. There'll be people in your circle, not maybe just in my case, my husband, or in my daughter's case, her father, but wherever we are in the world, the people you work with, your supposed friends, your colleagues demand with your boundaries how you want to be treated with
Mhm.
kindness, with respect. Otherwise, you're being in a different kind of an abusive relationship. It's not intimate, but it's still abusive. Even
Mhm.
with lawyers and doctors, whoever.
Yeah, well, like for me, I'm one of the kindest people you ever meet. I go
I
out of
know.
my way. I show my heart on my sleeve. But if someone crosses boundaries, I'm not very nice. So, and it's important. So some people are here for a reason, and some people are here for a season. You want to find your reason tribe, not your season tribe. But the
It,
season actually it helps you, evolve in so many things in your life.
well, and it's true. That's how you grow. And I want to just offer this is that you are being nice. We have this belief that, oh, we can't say no because it's rude. Remember, the key here is honoring yourself. And when you honor yourself, that is being your true, authentic self, right? So
Yeah.
I want you to say, you are being kind to yourself, you're honoring yourself, and you're being your real self. And that you deserve to be. So we're almost done here. I just read, I deserve to be surrounded by kind, loving, and supportive people. My life matters, right? My life matters. And I have the right to create a joyful, productive, and prosperous life. That is your right. And you do that when you are supported and surrounded with people who respect you, mutual respect, and mutual kindness. And definitely in an intimate relationship, you were treated with kindness, respect, love, thoughtfulness. I didn't know what a kind relationship looked like. So we'll get
Mhm.
into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But this should be printed out and posted on your mirror or frame it. And so you can see it every day. So make sure that you do sign it and because we can see who signs it. We're growing that database of people who
That's
signed it
amazing.
to make this a true worldwide movement that changes people's lives.
Well, I'm going to add a little something to this because not everyone does this, but there's something called DMOs, so daily method of operation. So in my book, Growing Your Business Referrals, I talk a whole bunch of many national holidays for 12 months worth of different national holidays. And
Hmm.
there is a national I am day. And one of the things I talk about in that chapter is how important it is to tell yourself what you want. So I
Hmm.
am a finisher. In my case, I'm going to finish a book. I am enjoying, XYZ. Just tell yourself your I ams in the
Hmm.
morning and in the evening, and it's going to help with everything in your life. But if there are people in your life that are causing you bad energy, then you need to find a new tribe. And it's okay to find a new tribe because that's how you're going to be more abundant. You're going to live a healthier life, no health issues because you're focusing on the right people in your life, whether it's a romantic relationship, business relationship, friendship. Yeah, as we get older, our circle is going to get smaller, and it's okay.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I love what you shared, Cindy. It's so important because it's easy to say, "Oh, I don't want to be rude." Maybe maybe they're just having a bad day. These are some signs, so we can maybe just segue into some of the warning signs of being of what abuse looks like, and because one of the things that people do, and I was whatever I'm saying, I have gone and done all of these things, and I have experienced multiple kinds of abuse. There are many different kinds of abuse. There's verbal abuse. There's obviously physical abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse,
Passive aggressive.
passive aggressive. Yeah, it's a variation on a theme. So there's all different kinds, and what we have, there's a tendency is if you ever catch yourself making an excuse for their behavior,
Mm-hmm.
that is a big fat red flag. We don't ever if have to make an excuse for somebody else's behavior if they're kind to us.
And we
If they're
also, as our own person, we have to, if we're making those mistakes, we have to accept that responsibility also. And a lot of people with the whole passive aggressive, they don't accept responsibility. That's super crucial as well.
right, yeah, the people who are narcissistic, sociopaths, psychopaths, one thing is that they're always blaming. You can
Mm-hmm.
see that they blame you for everything. It just the list is so long of what I was blamed for in my marriage, and I will give you some examples, but I also want to the listeners to understand it doesn't matter where you were born, where you live, now how rich you are, how poor you are, if you're highly educated, if you've never gone to school, this abuse, toxic behavior, I'll put that general term, has no limits and no boundaries. It can appear anywhere, right? It is everywhere in the world. To me, this is the biggest crime in the entire world. It's not the wars we have. More people suffer from this kind of behavior, the whole global topic of abuse
Mm-hmm.
or toxic behavior than anything else. And the damage is long lasting. So, oh yeah, you have some, yeah, the ways we can celebrate. So, so getting back to some of the signs of abuse you should never ignore is that one that we talked about was if you're making excuses, if they're insulting you, they're putting you down, they're demeaning you. What they're doing, this is all again under an umbrella of control. So when people put you down is because they personally are weak in their mind, but to feel strong, they put other people down. But you're the receiver, and all you know is that it feels horrible, and then you get smaller and smaller and smaller, right? And you've lost yourself. And if you have children or your family sees you and they kind of know, but they don't know, because what happens now is shame starts to kick in. You feel
Hmm.
too embarrassed to talk about it. No one will understand. Cindy, I was in an abusive marriage. I mean, before I was married 18 years. Let's put it that way. I was married 18 years before I knew I was in an abusive marriage. Remember, this is way
Wow.
back. This was way back when,
Oh my Lord.
and I lived in the Middle East, so it's not like I could go to the a library or get books. The internet wasn't really big back then. I couldn't just Google things like you can now. You could put in the thing, my husband or my boyfriend is is insulting me and yelling at me. Well, then you can have a million answers to support you. I didn't have any of that then. And it was only here and there. And then it would take me another 7 years before I could actually get out. And
Wow.
that's I will say that in one little short sentence. But the reason I chose to stay is in the Middle East, custody of children automatically go to the father from the age of 7 to 18. And if I left, and there was no way in heaven I would ever leave without my daughter, and if I left with her and she had not yet turned 18, he would have had case to bring her back. And I was never going to change that. I'd rather stay there until she turned major, and then that's when we left, when she demanded that we leave. Um,
So why do women stay in these toxic, abusive relationships? It's insecurity, codependency.
there are a lot of reasons, Cindy. And it was really funny in quotes. It's like, oh, when people found out after I arrived back in the United States, it's like, oh, we're so glad you're out. And then it's like, well, how come you stayed so long? Well, it's more
Easy for them to
complicated.
say, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Well, an international escape is not easy, but it's not easy even here in the United States or in somebody's local, their own country, within their own country. There are toxic bonds. You keep hoping they're going to change. You keep hoping they're going to change. Uh, a big one, a huge one is money. Most of the time,
Oh,
they
yeah. Yeah.
control the finances, and you have nothing. Then how are you going to live? So it's like, how am I going to live? These are real issues that women face. S- Plus, they're isolated. They don't let them talk to their family, their friends, nobody who can support them. So there's the shame, and then on top of the shame, there's isolation, and on top of the isolation, there's the constant threat. If you talk to your family, you will pay for it. If you say
Mm.
something to somebody, you're
Yeah,
going to pay
fear.
for it. There's
Mhm.
fear. You're living in fear every day. And that's why women need so much support, that they're not alone, but they have to learn how to reach out. We can't help somebody if they don't reach out. And there are so many wonderful domestic violence organizations. The National Hotline in the United States is just doing outstanding work. There are organizations in every state, hundreds of organizations in every state to help women. Now, isn't that funny? We have all of these organizations to help women. Doesn't that say something?
Mhm.
Why do women have to be afraid? Why are men making women afraid? Now, I am fully aware that men are also abused. I will just touch on that briefly because that's not my forte. But most of the abuse by men are to men are by men. Women do get verbal abuse, but not always.
Well, Chef Jason has a comment. Do you see his comment?
Yes, exactly. It becomes this is I'm so glad you said that, because we have a society normalized bad behavior. We have normalized, like, we have to survive. You start to do things you don't even realize you're doing just to survive. And I was fully aware that I was not happy with what I was doing, but I had to survive. So you do things
Mhm.
to do that. But the bad thing is that society is normalizing this kind of behavior. We're not as a society challenging people. Why are you treating your wife that way? Why are you treating your children that way? We just stay out of it. And even in social discussion is, we don't talk about it. And that is why we're doing this. This is why this National Day is so important is to get that out there, to get the message out there that you do deserve to be treated with kindness. You can create a productive life. Um, that dash between the date you were born and the date you pass is critical, and you can live that life. You deserve to live that life with kindness. Um, and um, so that's why I'm saying it's a very complex issue why women stay, why it's so hard to get out, and they need our support. They need to be believed because if a man is a judge, I mean, or a lawyer or a policeman, and it's her voice against his voice, and they go to court and they make her look like she's crazy because she's literally gone crazy of the way she's been treated, and she gets hysterical. That's it. She's lost the case. She's lost her
Yeah,
children.
we can only be kind so much. So a lot of people that are in my circle, they have a really kind heart. But if someone crosses them and out of, being kind to someone and crossing those boundaries, then that's when we're not even close to being kind. Then we're the opposite of kind, but for good
I
reason.
want to correct you. I'm just, Cindy, you are kind to yourself. Remember, this is about
Mhm.
love is kind is not just about having people treat us kind. The primary thing is learning how to be kind to yourself. So you are kind to yourself. You're honoring yourself, and that
Correct.
is the most important thing. uh, s- and your tribe is doing that. You're kind, and you know what kindness means. You know what it means to set those healthy boundaries. Setting healthy boundaries is being kind to yourself. That's a perfect
Mhm.
example of how you're kind to yourself. So I don't want anybody ever to think that, oh, because I am saying no, I'm not being kind. Absolutely not.
Exactly. So I have a few more questions. What's the effect on children in a relationship like this?
Children, as you probably know, just they observe. They know, how you hear this like, oh, we stayed because of the children. And
Yes, that's number one, either
because
children or financial.
that's right. That's right. And losing your children, right? The possibility of losing your children or having to share your child with the abuser if they have shared custody. I didn't have that because I waited and then I left the country. But the thing is that when children are modeled with these toxic behaviors, they
Mhm.
grow up in fear. They
Yes.
they can grow they grow up with lack of self-confidence, which affects their whole life of being able to do well in school, to be able to focus in school. Many cases of quote unquote ADHD is it not ADHD, it's abuse in the home. Children don't know how to process all of these feelings, and it can have long-term effects as how well they can have mental illness, depression, anxiety, have difficulty developing intimate relationships, and which kind of leads into sort of maybe the final topic as well is they they often will become abused in their next relationship because what the chef said,
It's
that
a
it looks
pattern. Yeah.
normal. Yeah, right. It looks normal, right, to them. So they don't know. The brain knows what it's gotten used to. It doesn't mean that it's the right thing. So, or they become an abuser because that's also what they have observed. And they think that's normal. They think that's normal how to treat another human being. So you have these two sides. And so then that's how it continues from generation to generation to generation. And part of my work is to make this visible and break the cycle of abuse. Break the cycle that we have to live we have to live in fear, that we have no other rights. And is it an upward battle? Yes, but am I ready to fight it? Yes, I'm ready to climb
Mhm.
that mountain. I'm ready to spread that message because it has impacted my life tremendously. I have been out. I have been out for 16 years. I can't even believe that much time has passed. And
Wow.
to this day, I am still triggered. I don't stay in those triggers, but I am triggered. And I am with the love of my life, the kind love of my life. And I'll catch myself. It's like I can't believe he's so nice to me all the time. I
Mhm.
almost sometimes I'm thinking he's going to yell at me because I think how my ex would have behaved, and he never. never has yelled. We set that as a boundary. There's no yelling in our relationship. Zero.
So we have another message with Chef Jason Mercado.
Mm. I'm going to read it if that's okay. I also think the
Of
sad
course.
part is that when women sometimes do escape and get into a more stable, loving relationship, it feels uncomfortable to them that they sometimes go back to what they know, which is an abusive relationship. Yeah, this is exactly because it's not what they know. And this is my work to help them learn what a healthy, kind relationship looks like and what they deserve. And uh, that's how it continues the cycle too, right? Sometimes they won't even get into a kind relationship, but it's true. When I got into my relationship, I didn't know what kindness felt like. It felt
Mhm.
weird.
Yeah.
Kindness felt weird. So his comments are really spot on, and I really appreciate that. And that's why we need to make women aware, everybody aware of what you deserve to be, what kindness looks like. It means saying, I'm sorry. It means not blaming you. It means or looks like, I'm here for you. It
And
means
know
being
your love language. You know about the 5 love languages, right?
absolutely
Words
right,
of affirmation,
right.
gifts. Yeah, that's actually a really great book that you guys really
Y-
need to put in your
yes,
arsenal. It's going to really
I
make a
that's
difference on
that's
how
on my
you
list. I give it out to I share that link to everybody to take that test, the test little quiz,
Mhm.
because if you don't know what healthy behaviors look like, you don't know what to look for.
Mhm.
And you don't know what you really deserve. That's your right to have because it's just wasn't in your vocabulary. It wasn't in your vision of your experience or knowledge. And that's what this is all about today, that we deserve to shift from fear to freedom. That real love is kind, not terrorizing. That we
Mhm.
can make a difference in the world, no matter who you are, no matter where you live, no matter what status you're in. I believe that with my whole heart.
Yeah, so we're closing out in a few minutes. So one of the questions I always ask, so the first question is, who would you like to shout out? And then after that, I'm going to ask you how you celebrate every day. So who would you like to shout out to?
Well, I'm going to shout out to two people. I'm going to shout out to my daughter, who is the co-creator of the Love is Kind network, National Love is Kind Day. She did all the legwork. Oh my God, she did all the legwork. So we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for her. And I want to shout out to the love of my life, who has been with me through thick and thin and shown me what real love, real kind love is. And I am grateful every single day for it. Just every single day. And what was the second question?
Well, let me do a couple shout outs. So I definitely want to do a shout out to you. We've known each other since 12 or 13. It's been quite a minute when we both lived in the Bay Area. Also, Chef Jason Mercado. He lives here in Southern California. Mission Cookie Company. Definitely check him out. And of course, all
Mm,
my friends at National Day Calendar for giving Rosie and myself an
mm,
opportunity to share our mission with our national holidays. We appreciate, love you. And
love
all
you.
right. Last question. How are you
What's
going to make a difference? And how do you celebrate every day?
I am making a difference by leading the Love is Kind network. I am making a difference by helping one woman at a time. If she hears this and I hear stories back, "Oh, you changed my life. I didn't know I was in an
Mhm.
abusive relationship." I can't tell you how often I hear that. They will hear me speak and then it's like, "Oh, that was abuse." I get that all the time, so I know that. And how I celebrate is going within and honoring myself that I'm here, I get to do this work, that I'm with the love of my life, and I am just beyond grateful. I'm
Yes.
just beyond grateful. Um, I stay in my lane, and I'm
Yes.
gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep going. This is a legacy. This is not a one shot thing. This is gonna exist beyond me.
Yes. And how do I celebrate every day? How do I make a difference? I make a difference by making people have 1,000-watt smiles when they're touched by me. I'm currently making a difference for the last 3 months, getting tested to give a
Yes.
kidney to one of the most amazing people on the planet, Sean Cordes, and a big shout out to his wife, Jenny Cordes. And it's been a process, and I'm just so grateful to be able to do this. And how I celebrate every day, nationaldaycalendar.com. Woohoo! If you go to nationaldaycalendar.com, you can learn all about the national holidays. At the time of this broadcast for the 27th, Parents' Day, Creme Brulee Day, Love is Kind Day, woohoo!
It's on Sunday, yeah.
New Jersey Day, and have a little scotch. It'll be National Scotch Day on the 27th. So I am going to put you in agreement. Is there anything you would like to say closing out that's really going to hit home for a lot of people?
Well, I would, let's get this movement going. Go to the Facebook page. She's posted there. It's the name of the page is Real Love is Kind Movement, and go there and follow it and share it with your. Yeah, that's the link. That's the official link, and go there and share it. Spread this. Make kindness go viral. Let's learn how to be truly kind to ourselves first, and kind to others. And sign the pledge.
Definitely sign the pledge. And one last thing, how I show love and kindness every single day is I think of 5 people, sometimes longer. I actually was in a networking event a couple months ago, and they had an exercise in 5 minutes. How many people can you text just to say you care about them and you're thinking about them? I think I had 47. I had the highest number. Sure. I text everybody I could think of as fast as I could. Yeah. And one of my friends actually just had his car stolen at his hotel in Miami. And he said, if I wouldn't have got this text from you, my day would have, been quite abundant. And because I've made a difference. So just do little things like that to show people. That's
right. You never know.
Yes.
A big smile it can change a whole person's day.
And shout out to the pledge website, and I'll put you in a green room.
It's kind, theloveiskindnetwork.com/pledge.
Okay, I'm going to put you in a green room and hang tight for just 1 minute. Thank you, Rosie. Great to see you. All right, there you go. Make sure you check the show notes. Celebrate every day and celebrate the 27th. And we'll see you here just on the other side.